In this Thought for the Week, I want to ask a simple question. If we're going to change things, where do we start? Enjoy. Do you know, one of the serious mistakes I think we make in church leadership is when we make assumptions about church. We assume that it's in a place that it isn't actually at that moment in time. And it's made me realise that actually there's nothing worse than making that presumption that church is ready for change when you start the change and discover that it really isn't. We need to acknowledge one serious fact, and it's this. You can only administer change if you start where the people are. And therefore it's important that as pastors, as church leaders, we know our people. We sound out their opinions. We see their viewpoints. We understand their perspectives. We understand their reluctance to change and the resistance to change and the things that they think are important if we're going to see the church move forward. Now that's not always easy, and it means that you have to get to know people. They have to trust you. You need to, they need to feel that you love them and that you are literally on their side. But when you do, it elicits a huge wealth of wisdom and insight and understanding and appreciation. And the more they feel they trust you, the more confidence they have in you, the more willing they are to give you the slack to move things on and to take them to places where they naturally feel a little uncomfortable to go. So this is my thought for the week. Are you starting where the church is at? Too often we come into a new situation and we come full of vigour and enthusiasm and ideas, and we try and lift the church and move it to where we think it should be, where we think it ought to go. And in the process we destroy our ministry, we find that people become resistant to change and they become reluctant to actually trust us and move forward with us. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that when you come new into a situation you can't change things, but what I am saying is you need to have a really valid reason as to why the change is necessary. You see, change for change's sake never gets anybody anywhere. And the danger, I guess, in our situation these days is there are so many great ideas out there. There are so many people peddling and marketing the latest and the newest idea that is supposed to solve all of our problems that you can find yourself become the victims of fad and fashion. You can find yourself being blown about and adopting all sorts of changes that don't really work in your situation. It's really important that we discover what God wants to do here, to start where we are and to recognize that God has a plan, a particular plan for this church, his church. And it may be that the latest fad helps us to do that. It may be that a new resource will enable that to happen more effectively and save us a lot of time. But don't just jump on the bandwagon. Don't do something because it seems everybody else is doing it or because it promises, you know, thousands of people coming to faith because that's what happened where they used it last. So that's my thought for the week. Start where you are. Is that what you're doing? And how are you finding it? We'd love to hear from you. Love to know how things are going. Do you know, I need encouragement just as much as you need encouragement. So please use the comment box. Let me know what's going on. Tell me what your thinking is. And in so doing, you're telling everybody else who views what you're thinking and hopefully will help them. If you've enjoyed this video, then press that like button and give us that thumbs up. The affirmation is really helpful when you're doing these things. And if you think others might benefit, then why not share it with them? You can always follow us and press that follow button and become part of the group, and that would be really appreciated. Thanks for watching.